What's up, Fire Nation? It is race day, baby! And it is time for us to put the helmet on and get it, guys. That's right, we're off to a new season. Today is the first race of the season, and I plan to go home with all the marbles, guys. I'm looking for a title. That's right, a title. First things first though, I want to give a shout out to SimSwag Technologies, guys. They have the best sim racing socks and pedals on the market, bar none. Not always the cheapest, but they're by far the best. The only sim racing socks you're gonna find that are designed for sim racing. Now that that's out of the way, guys, everybody's on notice. That's right, everybody in the AM class and Envy Sim Sports, you're on notice because this season belongs to me, Radio Flyer. On our team, we've got another gentleman named Kamari Odom, who races in the silver class. And yeah, Kamari's gonna take the title too. So SimSwag Technologies plans to sweep the field in AM and silver. Unfortunately, we don't have any pro drivers just yet. If there are any pro drivers out there and you guys wanna join the squad, hit me up, let me know. We'd love to have you. Being on the team is pretty awesome. We do a lot of things that you typically don't get to do just racing online. We practice once a week. We share driving habits and tips. We talk about setups and share setups, and we help each other, you know, along the journey because we all kind of jump into this pot in different levels. And the guys up here don't mind reaching down and picking up the guys like me so that on race day we can show up and show out, guys. So without further ado, it is time for Le Mans, guys. That's right, it is time for Le Mans. First race of the season, and you guys are on notice. Let's get it.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Envy Sim Sports for the GT Sprint Series Americas, powered by Triple Stint and SimSwag Technologies. We are here for round one at the Circuit de la Sarthe. Le Mans awaits us. Broadcast by HyperX Studios, and my name is Jarvis Coyd. I'm the play-by-play commentator. In production is Julia Marquez. Eitan Benezra is our executive producer. Make sure to follow our socials at HyperX on Instagram, X, Facebook, and YouTube. The track, it's a classic one, the longest track on the calendar. It's 13.626 kilometers with a tarmac. It opened on the 26th of May 1923. The GT3 lap record is a 3 minute 53.802 by Hadrian David in the Lexus RCF GT3 at the 2026 24 Hours of Le Mans. And of course, this is the first round of the season, July 17th, here at Le Mans. It's the longest race on the calendar as well, 100 minutes. But it's round 106, and you can see the rest of the calendar there. Sebring, Hockenheimring, Road America, Detroit, and Daytona await us in the next 5 rounds after it. And if you want to get some high quality gloves for your own questionable quality sim racers, triplestint.com awaits you. Make sure to go to the website and buy your apparel there. And for both sim racing socks and a pedal set, go to SimSwag Technologies. Check out their website for both apparel and sim racing gear. Good quality for good prices, and they await you. So make sure to follow MV Sim Sports on Instagram, X and Facebook. The handle is at MV Sim Sports, and also go to the website mvsimsports.com to sign up to events, check the results, standings, etc.
What's up, Flyer Nation? Welcome back to the channel, guys. It is race day, baby, and you know what that means, guys. We are about to get it. First race of the series. Of course, I want to give a shout out to SimSwag. I'm rocking the SimSwag socks, man, and they are fantastic. Secondly, I want to give a shout out to MV Sim Sports for kicking off the GT Sprint series with us again. Actually powered by SimSwag, so excited about that partnership, guys. But I'm just happy to be back in the rig and get this thing rocking again, guys. We got 10 seconds before practice is up, and we're gonna jump into some qualifying and see how we do, guys. But we are ready. Let's get it.
And yeah, out on track, it is starting to look a bit wet. Weather is replicated between the European and Americas series, so we can expect a wet qualifying at the start of this event. Right now in practice, it is a little bit wet out there. In fact, the qualifying has started. John Cannon, we're watching right now, the 51 Porsche, out on track currently.
Oh no, it's wet. It's wet. Oh no. We're going back to the pit. All right.
There are also other cars out there. Everybody is out for their first laps, and if we're looking at the sectors, it is Travis Allen not Travis Allen, Virgilio Garcia with a 40.399, 40.1 for Stephen Shade as well. They have set the fastest sectors one so far in this wet qualifying session. 29.6 seems to be the thing there, and that's a Mercedes spinning round. That is Wayne Gardner in the Mercedes, and he's gone back into the pits.
Why? Let's give this a shot. We definitely did not expect for it to be wet, guys. That was definitely a shock for us. It's not wet. Always a curveball, guys. Definitely not what we expected. This lap here is not going to be a good one, but we'll put in a decent lap the next lap. Definitely not the lap we were looking for, guys. End of session. Jeez.
28 cars await to be gridded. It's 2 pro drivers lining up 1 and 2, then 4 silver drivers behind that, and everyone seems to be gridded as the safety car will soon pull away. And so they do. It's a short formation lap. They start on the straight before the Porsche curves. Drivers trying to get heat in by weaving side to side with the new tyre update. This does work now that it didn't before. And we'll see exactly what happens. We've still got a few cars that haven't started this race. Joseph Yang, Virgilio Garcia and John Cannon haven't taken to the grid yet, so they're starting in the pits. And that is not a good start for them. They'll go be avoiding the rest of the pack here. Up ahead will be 25 cars into turn 1, but as they make their way through the Porsche curves slowly, there they are. I believe this is the first time we've seen the Huracan taken to the track. I believe, if I'm looking at this correctly as well, that's the only Huracan on track. Dallas Barron, the Australian, has chosen the Huracan here at Le Mans. And it's going to be a Mustang versus a Huracan for P1 honours in Pro. The variety of colours that we see on the field currently, a GT Sprint, 100 minutes awaits us. Oh, Barron disconnecting, the Australian internet not having the best of times at this start. Hopefully it does not become a reoccurring appearance, but we'll see what exactly happens. The safety car pulls into the pits. Alvarez for Stop Esports Racing will take to the grid. and it's a green flag racing almost immediately, and the Huracan of Bahrain immediately under threat from both D'Arlusio and Dyson. Dyson in the Porsche, the 177, looking to go to the inside of turn 1, battling out for the overall lead. It will be Alvarez on the inside of turn 2. Dyson on the outside, and it's going to be off track on this, what's happening, and it is Bahrain going off track. Alvarez in P1. No, it's not. Bahrain takes off track to go maybe into the race lead. No, Alvarez into the race lead. Dyson in P2. Bahrain is going to go down the inside, heated to stay in second place. And it'll be Lawson in P4. It's going side by side, several cars going through. No incidents so far from the first look at the start of the first sector, but it will be Sierra versus Manuel, and it's going to be incredibly close here, and also Lawson versus Manuel. It's 3 wide heading into the first chicane. We've got 3x2 grid in terms of cars heading into the first chicane. Both they go back into relatively equal odds, and it's Lawson trying to get ahead of Manuel, not being able to fight back. He is fighting back into the inside the next corner of the chicane. That's Manuel in McLaren, the purple and blue McLaren, as we see Brady, Allen and Allen in the BMW. Brady in the Marlboro BMW trying to fight with the Ford Mustang of D'Arlusio. D'Arlusio hasn't had the best of starts. In fact, he's dropped back about 5 places from where he started. He started in P3, I believe, as he's now under threat from losing another place to go down, maybe, into P9. D'Arlusio switches to the inside, and he's defending from the BMW. The BMW, no, it's contact between D'Arlusio and Brady. And the Ford Mustang is on the gravel, and he's going to lose even more places. It's a nightmare start from D'Arlusio. It goes from bad to even worse. Started in P4, and now is out of the points. P15, now it's a battle for the race lead. Alvarez versus Bahrain. The Italian-coloured Huracan will take the race lead away from Alvarez halfway through the first lap, but it's door-to-door heading towards Indianapolis. We've seen several battles into Indianapolis. Some end well, some end badly. Alvarez looks like to go from the outside to the inside in that complex of corners. The Mustang slightly pulling ahead of the Huracan, but will it matter? They're equal to equal, more equal than you think. The Huracan to the inside, then it's the outside. The Mustang will stay in the race lead. The Huracan can't do anything about it. Alvarez in the race lead, 3 tenths ahead of Bahrain. Dyson a second further back from the Huracan, and we can expect a battle for the lead for the rest of this race as we watch Evans versus Orellana, and it's all heading into the ball, and it's a whole concertina effect. It's 4 cars involved in that incident. Even further ahead, you can see there's a Mustang, 2 Mustangs involved in the wall there. I think that's Luciano as well. Oh my goodness me, that's BMW heading into the barriers. It's a Porsche missing its rear wing. There's 6 cars, I believe, or 7. Evans with a meatball flag. They'll have to continue on. Bahrain versus Allen versus Brady, I mean, heading through the Porsche curves. A heavy incident for 6 cars at the start of this race. Brady 2 tenths away. In fact, it's 2 teammates in the same part of the racetrack. They need to work together despite each other, I believe, being in separate licenses. Although Alan and Manuel are teammates, I was looking at the wrong cars. There's 3 McLarens who are competing in the same team. Brady in the BMW is all by himself in the Marlboro BMW. Manuel versus Allen is the battle for teammates in the McLarens, and it will be Manuel versus Allen. Manuel getting the better of Allen. But the BMW, oh no! It's contact to the BMW, and thus contact between teammates. That has not ended well for the McLarens. And that is Lau missing a front bumper for Box for Hard Motorsports, and he's going to lose a lot of downforce, already dropping out of the top 10 now. Sierra versus Dyson for the overall P3. Dyson could lose a place here to the McLaren, and he has done so. Sierra taking to the racing line now, doesn't think that Dyson will fight back into the first chicane, but he's weaving slightly in the middle of the racetrack, trying to break a semblance of slipstream. Dyson looking to fight back into the next chicane, breaks a little bit later. Dyson desperately keeping the P3 overall, and he has done so, but he might be slightly hampered here at the exit.
All right, guys, let's see what happens here. Let's put our head down and try to keep it clean. We got a long race ahead of us.
In overall standings, Sierra trying to take that away from the Porsche. And Sierra versus Dyson into the second chicane. And it's free wide. The Ferrari trying to involve himself into this two-car battle. And they will continue on as it was. But Pascoe versus Padilla. Padilla in the Aston Martin, Pascoe in the Ford Mustang, and they end up swapping places. Pascoe is still ahead of Padilla. You can see almost a three-car battle. That's what we were looking at before, but we'll focus on the race lead. The Italian car, the Hurricane.
All right, guys, so I'm in 22nd. Pretty horrible start. I got tagged in the beginning, got wheel damage, and then guys crashed in front of me, which took me out quite a bit. So yeah, we're behind the pack. We're in 22nd. We're still fighting though. We're gonna give it all we got.
Focus on this battle for now. Alan's losing several places. In fact, Alan's having a fair bit of trouble apparently, as we see. Still, this battle, the three-car battle that you see here, has allowed Zachary Manuel to catch back up, and Odom in the 15 Mustang getting past Lau, we have to mention this, lost his front bumper at the start of the last lap, and he will go into the pits to do a fast repair. Lead for the race, the Hurricane versus the Mustang. Once again, Brady also coming into the pits. Hurricane getting the better exit, heading down into this fast section of corners. You don't really know if the Hurricane is going to go for the move, or will he be saving his tyres and fuel? Not too sure. We'll see what exactly happens. But it's close battles everywhere that you see. And we'll see what happens here. No, Dyson isn't. Dyson is under pressure. No, we're watching Padilla versus Orellana, and the Aston Martin going down the inside. Both cars is going slightly wide, and the McLaren getting the better exit out of the two. Tucks under slipstream. We'll switch to the inside line. Dyson. Sierra now takes his third place overall. This is for the race lead in GT3 Silver as gravel is pulled up in the background. Meanwhile, GT3 Pro race lead. Barron behind Alvarez. 0.2 of a second heading into Indianapolis. Will they go for it? No, sensible. Keeps going on as it was. Better run though, maybe? I mean, like, Alvarez is feeling a lot of pressure from the Hurricane behind, I imagine, but it's not enough for him to make a mistake. Roll the Hurricane here of Dallas Barron, the Australian, in the only Lamborghini in this event. Mustang has to tuck back into slipstream. Seems a bit hampered by its lack of straight line speed versus the Porsche. So it has to wait for its turn. Meanwhile, Alvarez versus Barron is once again getting close. As we head down towards the hairpin, does Barron choose? He's been backing off at the hairpin. What can he do now, though? Barron chooses to stay onto the racing line. I believe he's just going to lift off into braking, unless... Oh, yeah. Okay, so he's backed out of it again. So this is to be expected. He's done this in the last couple of laps. The main overtaking spot that he might try to do is Indianapolis. You know, I would be starting to think that he's starting to fuel save, but the fact that he's so close and he's risking everything, if the Ford Mustang brakes slightly later, he's going to rear-end him. But a mutual respect between drivers starting to brew, and the Huracan practically seeing this Ford Mustang. Yep, no moves into Indianapolis. Padilla versus Pasco, however, that's going to be an overtake. Side by side between these two cars, the McLaren trying to fit in the middle of this sandwich. Two front-engined cars being the bread, the middle-engined car being in the middle, and it's going to be side by side versus the Vantage and Mustang, and the Mustang of Pasco still staying ahead. Padilla Orellana getting an opportunity up ahead of Eduardo Padilla. That could have ended a lot worse than it has had. And it's Orellana up ahead of Padilla. Padilla was in the front of these two three-car battle. Now it's Pasco in 8th place, Orellana in 9th, Padilla in 10th. This race lead still not relenting. The Huracan at the back of this Mustang. We've mentioned that about 5 times already in this race. It's only been about 15 minutes. And Barron getting an excursion. Unsurprisingly, the third sector, that's very easy to do, is what I'm trying to say, and he has to back out of it. It's a slow down penalty, and the gap growing to 0.8 of a second here. So Barron having to serve that slowdown. Padilla versus Orellana for 9th and 10th place is once again getting heated up. It's 12 thousandths of a second between the two cars, side by side into this final complex of corners, and the McLaren still just ahead of the Aston Martin. The Aston Martin trying to gain back what was lost. They had contact between the Aston Martin and the McLaren. And Pasco under pressure from Orellana now. Orellana turns from being the hunted to being the hunter, heading into turns 1 and 2. And the McLaren will be on the outside turn, so the Mustang will have the opportunity to defend on the inside. No, tucks back in. It's Orellana in 8th place, Pasco in 9th, Padilla in 10th. And Padilla getting a slowdown penalty. Shade also getting a slowdown penalty, so he'll have to back off slightly in order to not get more penalties. But Padilla still hanging at the back of Pasco, 2.5 tenths of a second. As we're watching John Cannon, who started in the pits, has managed to gain up places to go up into 14th. Padilla now 1/10 behind Pasco on this main straight. Padilla, the Mustang, this battle has been chopping and changing. You don't really get the same places as they were on the previous turn, and the Aston Martin, despite a bit of damage going to the inside of Devin Pasco can't do anything about it, trying to get cut across. The Aston Martin of Padilla is on the Ford Mustang. My goodness, that was close. That was too close for comfort. That could have ended in tragedy. Brosius versus Yang in 15th and 16th, also getting close, as Brosius going to the inside and not the... Well, that is Brosius missing a front bumper, I mean. Padilla versus Pasco, once again, swapping, changing. Oh dear gracious me, it just doesn't stop, does it? I mean, Dyson versus Lance now, and that's the Porsche versus the Mustang. The pink Mustang as the Porsche a bit offline, getting the worst exit out of the two, perhaps. But Dyson ahead of Lance. Orellana 1 second back from Lance. Has to look in his rear mirrors to see that Pasco is pursuing him. Meanwhile, just up ahead, it's Lance versus Dyson to the right-hander. No chances there for the pink Mustang. A few bits of gravel strewed onto the racetrack. but not really impacting performance. Swift move. Well done to Lau. Sees up ahead. A bit of gravel being kicked up by the cars up ahead. And we are starting to make our way towards halfway through this race. Can you believe it? I can't. And this is Salvatore Orellana at Indianapolis, and it's just an excursion onto the gravel. This is what kicked up the gravel that we saw when we were looking at Lance versus Lau. And Orellana facing a fair bit of troubles with grip, it looks like. Kamari Odom. We haven't talked much about Kamari Odom in this race. He's quietly made his way through the grid, gaining 15 places ever since the start of this race. Equally impressive as does Orellana, and Odom might make that 16 as he makes his way potentially past the McLaren of Orellana. 16 places gained for Odom. Well done to him as they go Lau versus Orellana, and Orellana also gaining an additional place from taking advantage of Orellana's mishaps, and Orellana is not enjoying this racetrack at all. He's dropped 3 places in the span of 3 corners. I mean 6 corners practically. And now Lau versus Odom. This isn't for position in the GT3 Silver and the GT3 Pro standings, but it is for overall and a bit of pride. McLaren getting the better exit out of this curve, heading over Dunlop. McLaren of Lau looking for a move. No, we'll wait for the main straight. And yeah, not close enough. It's starting to get a bit of cloud cover, actually, more cloudier than I expected. The headlights starting to be switched on here. And we've got 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th all separated between one another by just under a second. 5 seconds overall as we see a Mustang darting from left to right on our screens, because he's trying to break the slipstream of Lau, and I don't think that's going to help heading into the next chicane after this one. I don't really know, as Orellana gets a slowdown penalty, which will put him under pressure to Yang. Lau versus the Mustang, and also Orellana versus the Mustang of Yang. Up ahead, Lau versus the Mustang breaking slipstream quite extremely there, heading towards the inside runoff as Lau goes around the outside of the Mustang, braking later. It is Kamari Odom fighting back, but no chances there for the Mustang, unfortunately, and he's put himself to the clutches of Lance. It's going to be a Mustang versus Mustang pairing. Heading into the right-hander here, Lance to the inside. Odom might lose 2 places in the span of this straight. Who breaks later? Lance versus Odom. The previous one wasn't for the position. This one definitely is in class. Lance now up into P4 in class. Odom P5. And Odom can't do much about it now. He is tucked under the slipstream, 3 tenths behind the pink Mustang, the 3-2-1 I mean. As behind me, Joseph Yang. There's so much Mustang and McLaren to follow. I don't really know what is happening at this point. I do know, but Yang heading to the outside. No moves into Indianapolis. Smarter. McLaren having a bit of a mishap. Oh no! It's Orellana and Odom. Is that Odom? Yes, it is Odom involved in that heavy... No, it's not Odom. Who was the other one in that collision? It was Odom, okay. It was Odom heading into Indianapolis. There's not much that Kamari Odom could have done better because he was sensible enough to take to the racing line. It's just a McLaren having a mishap there, and he's a victim, Kamari Odom, in that incident between himself and Orellana. Luckily, I hope, not too much damage to the Mustang, although it does lose several places. That's how close the battle is out there. That's Odom is in top place. Salvador Orellana retires from this race, goes back into the pits, knows the mistake that he has made, and yeah, Allen and Cannon both get slowdown penalties after going wide at the Porsche curves. Pink Mustang on Lance pursuing Cannon, as mentioned. But you can see Cannon starting to pull away. There's not much that Lance can do. It doesn't have the straight line speed. It's not a low downforce setup on that Mustang. As we see drivers coming into the pits on this lap, I won't be surprised if everybody else does. Here, Sierra Lawson joining Alvarez and Barron, but Alvarez now pitting out. As we switch to Padilla versus Breedlove, this is Silver versus Amateur License. Oh, wow, that's close between the Aston Martin and the Mustang. Closer than it probably was in their screens. But, yeah, Padilla trying to get past here for 13th place overall. Heading into the second chicane. Three attempts between Padilla and Breedlove switches immediately towards the inside of the racetrack, then goes back out onto the racing line. We have just 25 minutes left of this race to go. And Padilla closing and further, heading into Indianapolis. Does he go for it or does he be patient? Patience is the answer here. Sierra versus Lawson, that's gone extremely close apparently on the timing pages. That is for P3 overall in the standings. And that is Padilla going for a move ahead of Breedlove. Door to door, side to side, as Lance loses out to Manuel. Manuel having a build problem there. Padilla up in towards 13th place. Well done to him. Meanwhile, Sierra versus Lawson, they're both getting too close to one another, and Sierra is up into 3rd place ahead of Lawson. Barron gets a slowdown penalty. Lawson losing out a place to Sierra. Oh, and yep, still fighting it out. Sierra versus Lawson. We should have seen the battle before because they were extremely close to one another. Barron slow down. Sierra versus Lawson. Lawson in 4th place. Sierra in 3rd. Off-track excursion for Padilla. Breedlove comes into the pits. Padilla getting a black flag. That is a drive-through penalty. Mango also getting a drive-through penalty. And that is Padilla retiring from this race. He's out of the race. And it is Lawson versus Sierra. After the pit cycle, Sierra getting a lot better out of it than Lawson. Lawson's struggling on this outlap. Lawson's made this move before. He needs to do it again with 24 minutes left to go of this race. Also behind, you see Pascoe versus Allen for 2nd place in silver. Heading into Indianapolis, 3.5 tenths split the two cars. What does happen here? I mean, Sierra is where he wants to be. Lawson, this will be a benefit if he gets P3 overall. He is still comfortably 1st place in GT3 silver. Padilla back out onto the racetrack in 18th place. Thought he retired, but he didn't. He does get a a drive-through penalty, however. Jordan! Okay, that Corvette was involved. And Drew Cooper, a bit too hot heading into Indianapolis, probably, unfortunately, wasn't looking for the braking zone, and he's dropped down several places and missing a front bumper. But as we creep to 50 seconds left to go, Alvarez ahead of Barron. They've been fighting out neck and neck with one another. They're 1 minute and 6 seconds ahead of P3. Utterly ridiculous, and they've managed to stick to just under 3 seconds from each other this entire race at the very least. Sometimes it's been even closer than that. But Alvarez has been leading this race for most of it. Barron, the pursuer, hunting. But for Alberto Alvarez being the hunted, it's been easier. Although the pressure hasn't got to him at all. What am I saying? But despite seeing a Red Bull behind him charging, it's the Mustang that prevails. The horse, the pony, as he heads through the Porsche curves. The timer strikes to 0. And this will be the final time that Alvarez will have to go through the Porsche curves. He can take it easy, doesn't need to push anymore. 1.4 seconds splitting P1 and P2. As Alberto Alvarez, the checker flag awaits him. Barron gets a slowdown penalty, so even less of a chance that something will happen here. Alvarez makes his way over the final curves, and he will come across the line to win here at Le Mans for round 1 of the GT Sprint Series Americas. Barron, P2, also gaining a drive-through penalty, not like it will matter, as Breedlove will come across the line to finish in P2 in GT3 Amateur. Sierra, 1 minute and 7 seconds back from Barron, will be making his way towards the end of this race. We'll finish in P3. That's probably the most he could have hoped for there because of how large the gap was. His main aim was to overtake Lawson. He has done that, so well done to him. Mango finishes P3 in GT3 AM. Watching Eduardo Padilla finishing 17th place overall in GT3 Silver.
Alright guys, you want to talk about a humbling experience? That's it. That's what Humble Pie looks like, guys. What a freaking race! So we start out qualifying. What kind of qualifying session was that? Number 1, typically you get 2 or 3 laps for qualifying, but in this case the laps are 4 minutes. So I guess they set us up for 1 lap qualifying. Who freaking knew that? Not this guy. So I jump out, get me a lap in to warm up, and then I plan to go for it on lap 2, but guess what? There is no lap 2, so your boy starts in the back of the field. And so did my teammate Kamari Odom. I guess we didn't get the memo, guys, but that's okay. We decided we were going to stay in it and fight our way to the front. And that's exactly what did not happen for me. Turn 1, I get tagged. Got dive bomb the apex, hits me, bends my wheel. But I can stay in it, I can still drive the car. It's not going to take me out. I'll just fight with it to the first pit stop and see what happens. Nope. Turn 7, I get caught up in a melee. And it was tragic. I mean, straight tragedy. So I had to lift the car to the pits. I get the car to the pits. I come out of the pits. Now I'm gonna put my head down and I'm gonna go for it. But guess what? I've got 14 incident points. You know what that means? 1 more incident point and I got a black flag drive-through penalty. Guess what this guy did? He got another incident point that same lap and got a drive-through penalty. So 2 laps in, I've got 2 accidents and a drive-through black flag penalty. What do you do in that case? Most people just check out and say, I'm done. I'll see you guys next week. Nope, I can't let the team down, guys. I gotta put my head down and I gotta fight through it. So that's exactly what I did, guys. I put my head down and I fought through it. And you know what we ended up with? We ended up with second place in class and 15 overall. Wait a minute, there was a penalty given out after the race, so we ended up second in class and 14 overall, guys. Not a bad way to finish. I don't even want to call it a good race, because it wasn't a good race. It was just what it was. It was fun. That's what we'll call it, guys. What a way to finish some fun. So the good news is I'm still second in the championship. There's one guy ahead of me. I'll see him next week. I plan on taking that place from him. Our teammate Kamari Odom, he started in the back with us. He fought his way all the way up to 7th position and was killing it, and then gets taken out by a pro driver. I guess the guy just blew apex and took him out. So he gets back in and he fights his way back up to 8th, and then he got disconnected. So I don't know if there was a server issue or if he had an issue with his Wi-Fi. I'm not real sure what happened, but he got taken out. He got booted from the race and dropped to 23rd. So for SimSwag Technologies, guys, in the M class, we're okay. We're in 2nd place. In the silver class, we're 23rd. I think he's 14th in the championship standing for silver. So he's got a little bit of work to do, but that man's a freaking monster. So next race is Sebring, and he's coming for blood. So, hey guys, thanks for tuning in. This was awesome. We'll see you next week. Let's get it.